Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, dear all, good afternoon. And my name is Mama Keita. I'm director for EC's office in Eastern Africa. And I have the honor to moderate this session. So I would like to extend a warm welcome to all our panelists. Allow me to introduce them quickly. We have 5 people who are going to speak with us today. We have Mr. Hassan Adam, who is Chief Economic Advisor to the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia. He is also Executive Director of the National Economic Commission of Somalia. Welcome, Mr. Adam. We have Mr. Alastair Sena Alinsato. He is Director of the Cabinet at the Ministry for Development and the Coordination of the Action of the Government Action, Republic of Benin. Bienvenue, Monsieur Alicento. We have Mr. Mubarak Lo. He is Director General of Economic Prospective Bureau, Republic of Senegal. Bienvenue, Monsieur Lo. We have Madame Annette Grissel. She is Deputy Director General, National Planning Coordination, Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, Republic of South Africa. Welcome, Madame Grissel. Last but not least, we'll have also Bart, who just gave us the context of this side event. Bart is a chief of the planning, development planning section at ECA. Welcome to you all. Mr. Hassan Adam from Somalia. He is advisor to the President of the Republic. He is personally now involved in the elaboration of the vision, long-term vision for Somalia. Mr. Adam, please tell us about this process. We are interested, we are trying to learn from different contexts. Your context is a post-conflict context. You want to build a brand new Somalia. How are you organizing the country to do that? I'm sorry to give you only 8 minutes for this intervention. Go ahead, please. And including your recommendation.
Thank you, Mama, and thanks to the UN Economic Commission for Africa for giving Somalia a voice at this important forum. I think despite having emerged from civil war with significant progress in state building and economic recovery and fostering peace and security, and also having succeeded to reestablish ties with international partners and friends, in Somalia, we still find ourselves the subject of negative news headlines. So I cannot state enough how crucial this platform is for us to share our recent developments and our plans for the future. First, for those of us on the panel or in the audience who do not know much about Somalia, when we talk about Somalia, just besides the negative headlines, we're talking about the 19th largest African country by landmass area. We're talking about a country with the longest coastline in mainland Africa. We're talking about a country that is blessed with abundant and untapped natural resources, a promising climate for renewable energy, people with entrepreneurial culture and thriving private sector, and young workforce, with over 70% of the population under 30, around 42% between the ages of 14 and 29. So we're talking about a promising economy. You might be aware of this, but just to highlight the few achievements that we were able to secure in the past few months is we secured debt relief under the IMF World Bank HIPC initiative. That involved stringent reforms. We're almost a debt-free country. We secured membership in the East African community at the end of the last year. We secured the lifting of the arms embargo on Somalia by the UN Security Council after 30 years of after 30 plus years. So these are all a testament to the positive trajectory that the country is heading towards. In addition to that, also the government significantly weakened the grip of terrorism in the country, and we will hopefully be able to defeat them. once and for all. So achieving all these milestones and for our people to benefit from from their potential economic growth, I think sustainable and to capitalize on this, I think our country requires a long-term vision for development, not just for the immediate post-debt relief, post-Al-Shabaab, post-arms embargo and whatnot, but rather for us to think about what kind of Somalia do we want to become by the centenary of our existence in 2060? How can we change the fate of and the fortunes of our future generations? What strategies and transformative ways do we need to build a peaceful, united, and prosperous Somalia and a country with a competitive economy? So there were no doubts in our mind that our economy holds promise for the future, but we got held back by numerous headwinds, such as insecurity, protracted civil war, climate-induced extreme weather conditions. So for us to even come up with a vision like this, I think we needed two key elements. Number one is visionary political leadership committed to transforming Somalia, and that's what we found under the leadership of Dr. Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia. And then with that leadership, we also needed a buy-in from the communities, the Somali people at large, whether they are in the diaspora or whether they are in the country. So we spearheaded an inclusive, well thought out consultation process that led us to this long-term, to the birth of this long-term vision with ambitious and achievable goals. So to operationalize this vision, we categorized it into three phases. Phase one is, which has been successfully completed, is reviews, consultations, study tours, learning from African countries, and to design, in order for us to design our unique context-specific development model and to secure political and policy decisions. For phase two, which is still ongoing, it is about diagnostics to just understand where we are right now before we actually think about where we want to go in the future. We have been through civil war and conflict, and we need to establish the baselines so to ensure that we are clear about where we are going and what interventions we need. So this vision is comprehensive, and it is supposed to provide a clear path to long-term inclusive development and to anchor all the future development and plans and strategies. It will allow us to break off from a long-standing legacy issues and will place us on a sustainable development path. And it will also enable us to lock in the gains that we have made so far and build on them to ensure that we are on the right path to development. And lastly, it will also provide clear linkages and alignments to regional development, global development agendas, including the Sustainable Development Goals, Africa Union Agenda 2063, East African Community Vision 2050, IGAD Vision 2050, and global climate agreements as well. So with this vision, I think we were able to do a number of things that I think we could also recommend for people, for planners in post-conflict countries like ourselves that would want to undertake a visioning exercise. Number one is political commitment and national leadership with the right institutional arrangements is very necessary. And a few of our panelists also mentioned the importance of bottom-up participatory approach. I would underscore that as well. So that would involve broad consultations that bring people together and from all walks of life. And then people need also to agree on founding principles of the vision, country-specific model, use of digital technologies to enhance integrated planning, is very important in also our context, where data might not be readily available on all sectors. And finally, I think I would emphasize this is to learn from Africa. Africa has examples of all sorts. You have post-conflict countries with success development stories like Rwanda. You have countries like Seychelles, Mauritius, Equatorial Guinea, and Botswana that have achieved significant economic status. And there are many countries in between. So we were able to learn from all these countries, and we have paid visits to Rwanda. It is something that we expect other African countries also in our context to learn from. That brings me to the end of my intervention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adam, for sharing a country with great potential, very impressive success achieved in recent years, including debt cancellation and resolving the embargo, and really starting to curb the terrorism, and good political will and determination to change really the pathway of the trajectory of this country, learning from peers from other African countries. This is what ECA is trying to do at the moment. Also buy in consultative processes. Thank you so much for sharing this experience and the recommendation. So conversation to be continued.